Welcome geeks to your realm, Geekish Realm. Today we're gonna talk about a movie named Venom. So I was looking for this movie for quite a long time now, and yesterday I got time to watch it. And as I can say, this movie is okay. I really enjoyed this movie. It's not as bad as internet is portraying it, and it's not that good that we can be proud of this movie. But this movie is enjoyable, and the best thing is this movie is not boring, because that's the first thing I look in a movie. If it's too boring, I don't dig into technicalities. But this movie was entertaining. It kept me engaged, and the best thing, it has the laughters. So let's see what the movie was all about and if you should watch it or not. So first thing, I want to get into the good things, because I really want to talk about the good things without getting into spoilers. Talking about good things is kind of tough, but I'll manage. So the best thing about this movie is Tom Hardy and his performance. I mean, like, he's brilliant in this movie. Like, you cannot imagine a bad performance from this man. He's just a pure gem, and he was having a fun of his life, and like he was enjoying every moment of this character, like Eddie Brock. Now I want to make clear, this Eddie Brock is not Eddie Brock from comic books. This is a different kind of Eddie Brock. They have different motives and everything, but this Eddie Brock is likable. You like this character from the very beginning. And the other good thing about this movie is the relationship between Venom and Eddie. When they become one, they become we. That's the fun of the movie, because it changes the pace of the movie. It changes the genre of the movie. It becomes a buddy cop movie. It had the vibe. There's like two guys arguing, but it's not the guy with standing right in front of you. It's this guy inside your head. So it's kind of creepy. It's kind of good. It's funny, and there are a few lines here and there which Venom say, and it's so funny. The whole theater laughed on those lines. This movie is a lot of fun and had lots of comic reliefs, and there was some jokes, because I guess this is the comic book movie tropes nowadays, that they have to put some humor in it, and this movie has a lot of humor, and I don't know they did it intentionally or it was funny to laugh on, because sometimes you laugh at the movie, sometimes you laugh with the movie, and there was a one moment which was very confusing, but it was funny. So yeah, this movie is funny. The other thing that I like about this movie is the chase sequence. Now, I know nowadays all these comic book movies have the one common thing, and that is car chase, some kind of chase. This movie has it too, and they used it so well, so brilliantly, that it was so mesmerizing for that moment. And you saw the Venom's power, and you saw how Eddie is freaking out, and with that you're getting a car chase sequence, which, yeah, I was like, okay, there's another car chase sequence, but they did it well. That's the main thing. Now, with all that, this movie has their own issues. If I say this movie don't have any issues, then I'll be biased, but this movie has a lot of issues. This movie is mess. This movie is technical mess, but those issues don't overshadow the fun this movie had. I mean, like, I was enjoying, I was laughing, and hell, even I clapped in the movie. I was like, oh my god, this is good. But I cannot ignore the issues the movie had. So let's dig deep into the bad things about this movie. Now, the first thing I want to point out is the pacing issue. This movie has pacing all over the place. This movie starts slow, then it gets faster for just 5 or 4 minutes, and then it gets slow, and so slow that you're enjoying it, because that was the pace this movie should have been. But it changes again. Then it changes to so quick, and it was like everything was moving so fast, things were happening right and left, and you were thinking, okay, that thing happened, and that happens, oh, that happens. That happens a lot in the third act, and it shouldn't have been the case. And from the third act, my another issue came. That was like CGI fest. Okay, going into this movie, I know this movie gonna be the CGI fest, and I was ready for it. But the thing was, it was too dark. It was the same problem I had with Spider-Man Homecoming, that the fight sequence in the end was in dark, and this movie had the same issue. The final fight between the main villain Riot and Venom was so dark, and just because both of the characters have the same color palette, like Venom is black and Riot was kind of grayish, so it's very hard to distinguish between them. And for a split second, like half second, I was confused what was going on, but it ended quickly, so that's good. So yeah, that was my one big issue that I want to address. The other one big issue that I want to address is Riz Ahmed. Okay, his character was okay, but he's not a good villain. He was just there to speak some lines, and that's what he did. Well, the villain was so weak. You can say Riot was so weak as a character, not as a like strength-wise. He was more strong than Venom in his strength, but as a character, he don't have any motives. He don't have anything, and same goes for Riz Ahmed. He was just there, just like, oh, I'm an evil scientist guy. I'll do this, and what you can do. That was it. He was egoistic, and he was kind of character that one-dimensional. He was basically one-dimensional. That's what I felt about the love interest of this movie. Character played by Michelle Williams. Her name was Annie in the movie, and see, I keep forgetting her name too. So that's how forgettable her character was. But she had some good things in the end. But the beginning with her was so abrupt, and it was off, because movie starts with some good pace, and like I talked about, the bad pacing. It started with Michelle Williams' one decision in the movie, which I cannot talk right now. It's spoiler. So it's one decision she made. So it led into the pacing issues, and I lost my interest in her character from that moment. But that was it. And the other thing which I didn't like was the plot. There was no plot actually. This movie was just a baseline of any Hollywood movie you'll pick up. Just like, we have a guy, he's a hero, he's the main protagonist. He got shoved into the ground, beat to the death, he's down, he don't know what to do, and then he rises up again. That was the basic storyline. I just explained the whole story to you guys. That was it. There was not much into it. But now, what I'm going to talk about is this movie too bad as all the ratings are going? Like all the tomato meters, Rotten Tomatoes are saying this movie is bad, or this movie is quite enjoyable or not. Well, I don't know. I actually enjoyed this movie a lot, and it's kind of like guilty pleasure for me. The moment the Venom came on the screen, I was like, this movie has a lot of issues, but I like this movie just because of the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom, and they portrayed it so well. And both of the characters are played by Tom Hardy, so I mean, like, he had the best chemistry with himself, if that makes sense. So that was the one thing that was going around. And then the other thing was that I was going to talk about is, yeah, that's it. I mean, like, this movie is solely standing on the shoulders of Tom Hardy. If any other actor was playing this role, I don't know, this movie would have worked. But I enjoyed this movie. That's the main thing. I enjoyed this movie. I was not bored. But there was so many nitpicks here and there that I was picking up, but that didn't distract me for enjoying this movie. It may be the one-time watch, good one-time watch, but it's not the best movie ever. But it's not the worst movie ever too. It's not that bad that people are saying. So in whole, I watch this movie, and I'll recommend you guys to watch this in theaters. Don't wait for it to come on Netflix, because you may not enjoy this movie on Netflix as much you will enjoy in theater with other people, because in my theater there were a lot of people enjoying this movie. They were clapping, laughing, so I guess that enhanced the experience that I had. So I will kind of insist you guys to go and watch this movie in theaters. That's the best thing you can do. And as for the ratings, it's just stands thumbs in the middle, getting some down, up, I don't know, 5. Yeah, I gave them 5 score out of 10, so that's it. Hey guys, if you like this video, then subscribe to my channel, like this video, and stay tuned for more movie reviews. Geekish Realm, over and out.